This video, we're actually going to take a look at another one of the side menus called the announcer. So just like the name suggests, this will announce events that happen in your game world. And this could be any Unity scene anywhere in your project, and it will announce it to everyone in your project. So I have the player scroll view talked about in a previous video. Let's go ahead and just drag and drop the announcer in my canvas. And the announcer, sure, that is fine. I can drag it so it's further down if I want, but I think that's just fine. So let's have a look at some of the components on here. And again, it's just drag and drop and it will work. So we got this as stretch here. You know, I would say let's actually put it so it's aligned to the left here. This player connection watcher will watch any player connection that is currently in your project right now, or currently in your game, sorry. So if any player connection has their character marked as dead, it will fire this event. And you could say, I only want to trigger this event if they're actually dead, or I want to trigger this event if they're not dead. And of course, if you tick both, it'll change anytime that is dead value is changed to true or false. In this particular case, it will only fire if is dead is true on any one of the client connections. And it's going to pass the player name that is dead value is getting changed for, and what that value is, if it's true or false. And then if we look further down, this goes for that player's name and their current health value. And this, if we drag it out a little bit, when a character is first dropped into a scene, all of these values are going to change immediately. So it's going to fire off everything. So to prevent that, I say don't display that first change. And I have that set as false. And you can see that is for all of these. And that's why. And then again, if a player changes their scene, the player name, and then the scene name they're going to, and then these two are very self-explanatory. These strings are the player name, but these are the players that have connected to your game or have disconnected from your game. So as you can see, they are all firing something called the announcer spawner. So let's have a look at the announcer spawner. The announcer spawner is just this. It will spawn these particular game objects as children of this game object here. And as you see, it'll spawn something for when a player has died, when a new player has been added to your game, or a player left, or a player moved scene, or a player changed their name. So with that, let's see it in action. I'm going to call this one Wes and connect to localhost, join the server. And as you can see on the server, it's already made that announcement there, but we're going to see it in real time here. And as you can see, since I've disabled those first time announcements, announcements have not been made for myself, essentially. Let's go ahead and say this other client, and we're going to connect to localhost, join the server. And we come over here, we see other client has joined the game. And if we come into this one, it doesn't announce anything because nothing new has happened. This player is already here, so it doesn't re-announce everyone. But it'll also make announcements for like when a character dies. So I'm going to go ahead, switch teams, and grab a weapon. And then we're going to come over to here, and we are going to basically kill this player. So you see Wes has died, and then we'll make those announcements in both locations. And so you can see how you can take advantage of this to make custom announcements for when a player leaves, a player joins. And so let's see what happens. When this player right here will leave, we'll say leave, we'll come over here, say Wes left the game. And that's all based on those prefabs. So let's have a look at some of those. So if we come to announcer, we'll see player died, and let's just open up and look at player died. And you'll see that this is what player died is. It's a very, very simple prefab, essentially. It has two things. It'll say, hey, destroy this after 15 seconds, so we don't get this huge list of endless supply of announcements. And then a text replacer, which all this will do is it has, in fact, let's just have a look at it. You'll see that it is a very, very simple script. It just has something called update text, and you can pass in a series of string values ranging from 1 to 3 different string values, and it's just going to replace this particular string text in my string here. So it says string 1 is going to get replaced with essentially the player died text, and that's made possible because of this announcer here. So when it spawns the player dead here, it will spawn this, but then on this object, it will call the update text, and it will pass in the player name. So it will say Wes has died. And that same thing goes for the join, the left, the moved. So it does all of that for you as part of this spawner. And that spawner is made possible because on any dead change, it will call the spawn player dead. And it will do all of that for you. So you can see how you can tie these things together with a series of things that you can make yourself to basically make the game your own. So get creative with this.